Good morning, folks. We just made a paddock move, and it is November 3rd, and the wind is blowing, and I do not have a sock to cover the wind. So this is real life. This is what it is, and if the wind bothers you, I guess just turn the volume down and look at the cattle, what they're eating. This is a stockpile field. We've had it, oh gosh, 60 days. There's been 60 days rest on here, no rain. And then we caught a rain here, oh gosh, when was it? It's about 6 days ago. And we've already had about 15 days where it frosted. So the rain, the plants are shutting down pretty good, but we're getting a little bit of regrowth, and that's because the forecast, and we've already experienced about 5 of those days. It's been in the 70s, and it has not frosted at night now, and so the grass is growing. Slow, but it's growing. So somebody asked the other day, well, how much stockpile do you have? Well, you're looking at it. This is some of our stockpile. And we just moved them off the field over here, and there's plenty to come back to. Another rotation this winter, and of course that's what we'll do. We're always moving. We don't have a 40-acre tract that we don't graze in the fall. We just graze everything. But we have a long enough recovery rotation that we're able to graze the entire farm through the wintertime. And I can't overemphasize the importance of that, especially when it comes to animal health. In the wintertime, if you can keep moving those animals and keep them on clean ground off of what they were on yesterday, or for the last 2 days, let's say you're doing a 2-day rotation, just moving them, getting them onto clean ground. Even if you're feeding full-fledged hay every day, move them. Don't have a sacrifice area where you lock them down and leave them all winter, because then you're not getting anything. You're not getting anything back for your hay feeding. Or if you're moving them around your farm, they're not going to pug it up. If you got the right size cattle, if you got 1,500-pound cows, well, you better have a sacrifice area, and that's where they need to stay all winter, because they're going to destroy your farm in the wintertime. You just can't graze in the wintertime. You got 1,500-pound cows. If you get any rain at all, I mean, they're just going to destroy your fields. These cows, most of them are in that 900 to 1,000-pound range. We just graze pretty much all winter long. And what we do, not pretty much, we graze all winter long. And there's days that we'll give them a little piece of this, and then we'll give them a little piece of hay. And we give them a little piece of this and a little piece of hay. And that's how we're stretching out, especially this winter. We just don't have the stockpile we normally have. We got to be very judicious in the way we hand out this stuff. But the cattle are happy. They will absolutely perform 100% better if you keep them on clean ground. We don't worm. We let the cattle develop natural resistance to parasites, and the way we get by with that is removing them all the time. We're not keeping these young calves in their poop and where they're picking up parasites. I think nature had it figured out pretty well, and we came along and boogered it up. We put these fences in and we don't move the animals. That's what's happened over the last 100 years. The animals don't get to move anymore. They just get stuck in one spot. Well, that's a recipe for disaster as far as I'm concerned. Y'all hear anything bawling? There's not a single animal here bawling. I think there's 323 head in here. Nothing's bawling, even the little babies. These are fall calves right there. That calf was born probably a month and a half ago, and they're not even bawling. Nothing's bawling. Everything's just eating. That's what cows do. So with you know, the fuel prices, diesel fuel continues to go up. I've never seen a discrepancy at $2 a gallon, but it is now. Filled up yesterday, and it was $160 in a diesel truck. And right next to it was unleaded for $3.39, and diesel was $5.39. So this thing about fuel prices coming down, it's a farce. It's not happening, and I think it's something that we can just get ready. It's going to be there, and so when fuel prices are high, everything's going to be high, and we better get used to it. It looks like. And so where I'm going with that is, if you've got animals out here that need a lot of diesel fuel to keep them going on your farm, or you got to feed them all this grain, supplements, and you got all this equipment out there doing all this work on your farm all the time with equipment. Well, that equipment runs on diesel fuel. Most of it does. I mean, there are some gas-powered tractors, some older ones. I don't know if you can buy a gas. I guess you could buy a gas-powered tractor. It'd have to be a small one. Your bigger tractors, you know, you just get more power using diesel. And so I got tickled. Somebody made the comment the other day. He's like, "Greg, there isn't a diesel shortage. You're watching too much of that dang Fox News." Well, it wasn't on Fox, it was on CNBC. And then right behind that was the Chevron CEO. He came out and said, "Look out, folks, we're in for it." He was even saying there's a diesel shortage. This is coming from the largest oil supplier in the world, the CEO. So it's not hearsay, folks. I know, and I'm not being political here. I'm just being honest. That's what's happening. So if you fill your truck up every day, or every couple weeks, you know what I'm talking about. It is the truth. So yeah, we need to figure out how to stay on this land, how to make a living. And it all starts with the animals. You got to have the right size animals. You got to have animals that can make it on grass. And if you don't, you're not going to make any money. And so it's just a hobby at that point. And it's a terrible thing to go out every day and lose money. Especially in the wintertime. It's cold, it's snowy, it's icy. You're miserable. There's some miserable days out here. And you're not making any money. You're just doing it. You're just going through the motions, and that's a bad place to be in. It doesn't need to be that way. You've got to get things flipped around. It also starts with management. You got to manage what you have. You can't just give them the whole farm. And you can drive around Missouri. You won't hardly see anything like this. You won't see animals in one spot. You won't see polywire. You'll just see them spread out over the whole field. And then those folks are screaming because there's no money in beef cattle. You know, they're selling their herds. Well, they weren't managing. They weren't managing the grass. Your grass is your most valuable commodity you have on the farm, and you've got to manage it. If you don't manage it, you're not going to make it. And if you got cows that are eating too much of it and tearing up your land when it's wet, pugging it, leaving big old pug marks all over it, you're not going to have any grass out there to graze. So I'm going to stop right there. I know there's going to be people complaining about this video, but I did my best. And now I'm going to hush up and make a 360 because I've had my coat up blocking the wind. Here we go. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you all down the road.